Ask the streets, ask the streets.
I like that one.
So how long has HR, do you know how long is?
I'm not exactly sure, but I know it's been over 20 years that HR 40 been sitting in Congress waiting for somebody to do something about it.
And now, all of a sudden, it's a popular topic now.
Well,
why would you think that?
Because they need the black vote, because they didn't get it last time. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of some of what the Democrats refuse to admit out loud is that black folks really didn't show up to vote for Hillary Clinton. You know what I'm saying? And so now the reparations conversation comes up and becomes a popular issue to get the black vote activated. But again, HR 40 been sitting in Congress for over 20 years, so the conversation, because that's what HR 40 is, it's just to define what the HR 40 bill is. House Representative Bill number 40 is very simply a discussion on reparations. The Congress acknowledging the fact that they haven't voted on it, but the vote would be to acknowledge the fact that reparations deserves a conversation. You know what I'm saying? After 150 years, we all know this stuff. But they need to vote just to recognize that we deserve a conversation as to whether it's deserved or not. Just so we clear on what HR 40 is. And
so with it being on the books for over 20 years, it sounds like some gatekeeping type of stuff.
Absolutely. First of all, any bill from Congress that don't involve money, don't have an earmarked amount of money in it, is gatekeeping. It is, all it is a time waster, a distraction, something that they can sign on and show I support this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, they make bills like that. They make bills just to say I support this thing.
You got any examples of that?
The apology for slavery. You know that the Congress has officially apologized for the descendants of slaves, for slavery and reparation, and Reconstruction and the Jim Crow. So there has been an apology. Plenty of Republicans signed on to that. You know what I'm saying? We know what the Republican Party is about. So why would we take that as something substantive? The job of the Congress, the job of the United States Congress, that's the House of Representatives and the Senate, is to move the money. That's the only reason they exist. So it's to move the money and to maintain control, because that's what politics is, right? Power and money, right? So if they ain't moving money, they doing something to keep you under control, and that's what HR 40 is, and any other bill that's filed just for discussion.
And so it seems like again, I'm gonna go piggyback back. It seems like the ADOS got people talking about reparations. So now you get these old. It's like the same old,
which is why the bill is filed.
Same old crew coming up.
Which is why the bill is filed in the first place, right? So every time this conversation becomes a conversation, we can go back to this HR 40 conversation. It never goes anywhere. It's definitely not gonna go nowhere during an election year. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody who's actually a front, because let's be real, Kamala Harris is not a front runner for the Democratic Party right now, and she dropped the reparations conversation first. You know what I'm saying? Bernie is considered the front runner right now. And he, as we know, he ain't gonna stand on reparations. And ain't nobody who's considered a front runner trying to win gonna stand on reparations, because they scared of the white folks.
They scared of the white folks.
Scared of the white folks.
But are white people really against reparations?
Yes.
You would say they are?
Ain't no question. Okay, so race is an economic construct.
Well, cause see, listen, okay, you got people like Ann Coulter that come out. And I ain't trying to big up or nothing, but she keeping it real. She like, look, if any benefits supposed to be given to anybody, it's supposed to be given to the descendants of slaves. You hear that? I mean, like, it's only logical. Like, seriously, it's only fucking logical.
I mean, okay, so but we get. I mean, there's an exception to every rule, though, right? So
and so is it? I mean, like, is it a number of white folks that think like that?
Well, yeah. I got anti-racist supporters myself.
So if it was a real push for reparations with the Congress, are they really talking about it to the point where white folks can say, hey, look, go ahead and get that shit
That's where the question come in, because here's the thing about even the most good-hearted white folks, is they want to decide how stuff look too. You know what I'm saying? We get to talk about the reparations conversation, and because they supporting it, they want to say, they want to tell us that, well, y'all don't need just checks, and y'all gonna need literacy programming, and y'all gonna need this. No,
well, I hear black people saying that type of stuff too, though.
And it's still anti-blackness. It's still
you don't think that's
racism?
logical?
No, it's not. No, the black people, and I posted this on Facebook, black people do more with less than anybody else in this world. We have no issues with financial literacy. We have issues with access to capital. We ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me.
That's the end of the damn story.
Come on, man. We do double with half. Right. What these white folk do. CNBC shared some kind of crazy little meme talking about how $500,000 a year can make you feel like a normal person. What? Like, this is how white folk think. You know what I'm saying? So
500,000.
500,000, and most of us living off less than 20.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? So, and most of us are living off less than 20. So you know what I'm saying? And so when they say that black people don't know how to deal with our money, no, that the pair of Jordans I buy every 3 months ain't gonna build a black community. You know what I'm saying? The $1.6 trillion a year is a lie. It's an absolute lie. I'm saying this directly to the camera.
But what's there to brag about being a customer?
If we don't own nothing, we still slaves. And it's just that simple.
So when you say when people mention the buying power, what type of argument is that then? What are they missing out on?
Oh, a whole lot of stuff, because they don't understand economics. They don't understand. Even if we were talking about business economics, you wouldn't look at that as the value of the company, right? So I gotta pay my bills. All of this is included in this spending power.
Okay.
I gotta pay my bills, pay my rent, pay my insurance if I'm responsible enough to have that. I got kids to feed, all this stuff. That's like 80% of our spending power. Actual spending power is what's left over after all that stuff is paid. That's actual spending power. You know what I'm saying? Now, and that don't include entertainment, which is a human need. You know what I'm saying? Every once in a while we got to do something for ourselves. And then what black people who have this, because I call it anti-black conditioning, you know what I'm saying, to think that we're stupid or can't control money right, is saying that if only black people would just cheat ourselves out of the little pleasure we have in life for just a little while, we will be okay. You know what I'm saying? No, that's just not how real life happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all don't. And the fact of the matter is that the government can afford to give us as much money as the government wants to.
Okay, and that's our bottom line.
Bottom line.
And so, but also when people talk about black spending power, buying power, I don't think they're adding up white folk buying power.
Well into the trillions of dollars are circulated in downtown Chicago every day.
Right.
Just downtown Chicago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing though. And even when you talk about that, so when you talk about how much money is in the U.S. economy, all you got to do is look at the debt of the U.S. economy, because that's what money is. All of our currency is U.S. debt, because the United States prints the money, right? And so they debit themselves for every dollar they push out. They say, oh, we got to take one off this chart, and that's fake. Understand that? You know what I'm saying? Because if you make the money, who you owe? Come on, bruh. So we $20 trillion in debt. So that means there's $20 trillion currently circulating around the United States right now. You know what I'm saying? Now, because of income inequality, 18 trillion or so of that is held by 1% of the population. Right. You know what I'm saying? So what they saying is out of the 2 trillion is left, black people got the 1.6 trillion of it. That's what they trying to tell us, right? We don't have access to. I'd be surprised if black people have access to $1 trillion.
So what do you say though that when people, and then I hear black people saying this, like if they give you reparations and you ain't used to having money, you gonna self-destruct, you gonna get the money right back to the system.
They act like white folks don't use financial advisors.
But I mean, but is it true? Any truth to that?
No, because everybody ain't a accountant. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? There's plenty of people that's making their money and using it responsibly. They don't know what they doing. They got people that know what they doing. So let's act like there's some black accountants out here. You know what I'm saying? Some black tax professionals and some black hedge fund managers. They exist. There are enough black people.
They'll be in the money.
There are enough black people who got some sense that can get with enough black people so we can build some black economic infrastructure and keep at least some of our money. You know what I'm saying?
Can you put a number on reparations?
Yeah, absolutely.
What you got?
The estimate is between 6 trillion and 14 trillion.
Where you stand?
I'll take anything in between them. Honestly, that's a lot of money. $6 trillion. You divide 6 trillion by 450 million, you're talking about 150,000 each. Now, it's not what we would expect, but it's enough.
So you saying that's it?
For reparations itself, yeah. Like, okay, this is what we got to do. We got to separate what we expect as citizens of the United States of America, which we're getting cheated out of, and every citizen is. Black, white, pink, purple, or orange, every citizen is, and then there's reparations, right? Okay. So what I expect is fix the problem that affects every American citizen and give me my reparations, not either or. But
I might got more than 115,000 in debt. So if they give me that, then I just pay my debt and I'm really in the same. I gotta go back to the same situation.
Well, you gotta hold some accountability for where you put yourself too, though, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now again, if we can build up.
That kind of only occurred because my old man was locked out of building the well.
Oh, I dig it. And at the same time, though, like when we get it, we can't function like they function either, right? So when we get it, we can't function like a capitalist system like they function. We can't be trying to knock each other upside the head and get each other out of all our money. You know what I'm saying? And again, my math might be wrong. I ain't no genius like that.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? I know $14 trillion is enough for us to split. You know what I'm saying? And be straight. You know what I mean? I also know that the United States government ain't giving up $14 trillion. You know what I'm saying? Again, the entire amount of currency circulating is about 20 trillion. So they're not going to give up no $14 trillion. But at the same time, somewhere between a good 10 is somewhere between 6 and 14. You know what I'm saying? And we could, if we organize, we can get whatever we want. The LGBT community is like 3% of the United States, bro. They organized and got what they wanted. So it's not really a matter of the numbers. Everybody talking about we'll never get it because we ain't got the numbers. First of all, they lying about our numbers. We've been 14% for the last 40 years, and that's nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Half of us don't answer the census, no way. And so what we got to think about, man, we got to stop thinking so much about what and start thinking about how. You know what I'm saying? Like, how we gonna get there? Yeah, we can talk about reparations for the rest of our lives. We can add white people to the conversation, and they'll love to come and talk about it with us. They love to tell us how it's supposed to look and argue with us and let us waste our time like that. But ain't none of them gonna be leading no lobby groups. Ain't none of them gonna be building no national organizations to fight for this thing. And the only people gonna do that is us. You know what I'm saying? And then it takes some serious work, some knocking on doors and getting your neighbors involved, and some convincing your neighbors, because yeah, they're gonna have some wrong thinking.
So local organizing, and you saying, what are your steps to completely becoming a political power in America for Black America?
Okay, so all politics are local. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the biggest lie or the biggest deception we have right now in politics is that you turn on the news and they talking about Donald Trump and they talking about the U.S. Congress, or if you're lucky during election year, they talking about your city. You know what I'm saying? But then nobody talking about your alderman and what's going on in your neck of the woods, your ward, because that's where you can have a power as an individual person. Because that's what they got us convinced, that as individual people, we can't really move nothing. Right. No, you can't move nothing in Washington, D.C., but you can move something at your alderman's office. All you got to do is be there enough. You know what I'm saying? Or come up there with 15 people. Show up at your alderman office with 15 people every time you show up, and you can get whatever you want.
You think it's going to bow down?
They're going to bow down. You know what I'm saying? Because if you got 15 people that will show up every single time, this is how people that are in organizing understand it. Me as an organizer, I get 5 people. All 5 of my people get 5 people, because that's how I train them to do. And it's exponential like that, right? So if a person who understands politics and know, especially if you can show up with 15 different people every time, you know what I'm saying? And know that if this man is organizing and know what he's doing, all of these people represent more people. You know what I'm saying? Then you can move anybody you want. You can move bring 50 people down to Springfield. They gonna listen to you. You know what I'm saying? Like we be acting like we need the numbers to move the presidency. No, we don't. Not yet. I think we could. I think we could, because people don't vote. And like in the last election, only like 48% of the whole United States population voted. You know what I'm saying? The voting population, the people that's registered to vote.
But that's because they're losing faith in the system, though, I think. It's a sense that we losing faith. Now black folks now never really should have had faith in the system.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
But I think white folks are now losing because it's starting to hit them in the ass. They're starting to get kicked in the ass too, shit.
Well, I mean, to me, that's a good thing. To me, the more frustrated they are, the better off we is. Now, here's the thing, though. Like, and this is what politics don't get. Politicians think voters owe them something. Politicians start running and say, "Oh, if we gonna do this, I need you to woo woo woo." But no, a candidate you need to be coming at him and appealing to them. Like literally, if you want to run, if you wanted to run for mayor, I would advise you to start now, before this election coming up. Knocking on doors and letting people know that I'm going to plan to run for the next election. You know what I'm saying?
Is that against the rules to start early? That's only for presidents.
It's not against the rule for presidents. There ain't no rule to say you can go knock on doors and say I want to be president. You know what I'm saying? You can only start collecting money at a certain time. Okay. That's what, like, yeah, the only thing, again, all national and federal laws about money. If it ain't got nothing to do with no money, and that's another thing about elections. At this point, it's a big embezzling scheme.
So after you organize, you get an alderman. What's the alderman supposed to do for the community, and what's the next step after the alderman? Okay, so using Chicago as an example, right? So again, politics is all about money. So you put that person in there to get money into your community. That should be that. Black people should only listen to politicians talking about putting money in their pockets. That should be our only abortion, gay marriage, all that nonsense. They be talking, none of that matter. If they ain't talking about putting money in your pocket, don't vote for them. You know what I'm saying? So when you do get them in office, what's add on to the question? What's putting money in our pockets? Okay, so okay, and it might not be necessarily your pockets, but here's the thing. If finance is a service around you that you usually got to pay for, that's money in your pocket, right? Your property tax get lowered, that's money in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? Your street stay clean enough. When it come down to it, that raise your property value. Okay, I understand what you're saying, exactly. But let's deal with it from this. Being from Chicago, in these communities, black folks don't own nothing. We just rent. Okay, so we don't benefit from those. You know, you see what I'm saying? Yeah, we don't see the immediate turnaround like that. And part of the reason is because they steal our money every year. Again, at one point, Alderman has basically a $1.5 million a year slush fund to keep their residents happy. And then TIF funds, which is somewhere around $40 million that's decided every year. You know what I'm saying? What they do is they vote with their friends up north and decide, oh, we gonna help them, it's fun. They build their infrastructure up north. You know what I'm saying? For a bargain for something way down the line, one day we'll get back over to these poor black neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? So then that's your TIF funds. I always forget, but it's something about investment something. You know what I'm saying? Territorial investment funds or something like that. But it basically it's the money that your alderman is supposed to use to make sure that your living situation improves. You know what I mean? And so we got areas like South Shore that ain't nobody put no money in years and years, but all of a sudden they want to talk about putting money in there now because Obama Center's finna drop over in that area. And Leon Finney, who happened to be my cousin, he trying to raise rents over there in advance. You know what I'm saying? We know these property values gonna go up, so let's get these poor people out by raising this rent in advance. You know what I'm saying? Now a good alderman would either subsidize it for them because y'all got the money to do it. Oh, you want to help your buddy out? Okay, get the residents the money. The resident can pay the extra rent. You know what I'm saying? There are ways, you know what I'm saying, with government money
that everything can be. Right now, it's a dude, Andrew Yang, or somebody running for president, talking about the universal basic income. You know what I'm saying? $1,000 a month to everybody. I see where it could help. I'm not a fan because they don't do nothing but get billionaires richer.
But no, seriously though, how can that help when you talking about this is capitalism? Your socialist plan not going to work in capitalism. What they're going to do is they're going to raise the damn price $1,000 a month.
Well, yeah, that's why billionaires push for it. Steve Jobs was for it. Bill Gates is for it. You know what I'm saying? This dude is for it. Like, yeah, all these billionaires for it because the money goes straight. Now, it's going to stop some poverty and suffering. Like from on the bottom. They're going to raise the price for a second, because that's what all they do is they try to put patches. The problem is capitalism. The problem is capitalism, period. But that's not something we can do nothing about for 30 years. Not on no national level. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to be real about our organizing goals. You can build a little socialist area in your community, and people act like we can't do this too, right? So you can, if your alderman, because your alderman decide what zone is which, right? Your alderman decide this is industrial, this is commercial, this is residential. Your alderman is the one that goes to companies and say, oh, I need you to build over here, my people need jobs. Your alderman is the one to decide, oh, we'll give you this tax break if you'll put your company here. This is your alderman's job. So, okay, black folks, let's say, I'm assuming in the communities where black folks not voting, they don't know that. No, but I'm just assuming. I'm not gonna say it's a fact. I'm just assuming that, right? Most folks don't know that. So why? And it's typically a black alderman. Mm-hmm. What's going on with that particular individual where he know what he's supposed to be doing, but he choose not to do it anyway? We didn't put him there. We don't own them. You have So my characterization of a good politician is somebody I can stick my hand up their ass and make them talk. Gotcha. Your job is not to think. An elected official isn't a representative. They're not leaders. You know what I'm saying? I never considered Barack Obama my leader. You know what I'm saying? You can't run for office and call yourself a leader. Your job is to speak with the voice of the people you're running for office for. You know what I'm saying? I'm a leader because I'm out here and I'm trying to get people to come to me. As a candidate, you're supposed to be going to them. You're supposed to be finding out what they need. You know what I'm saying? And when you get in office, you're supposed to be speaking with their voice as to what they need. Now, a leader, on the other hand, is a Malcolm X or a Martin Luther King or a Marcus Garvey that speaks to the people outside of office and tells them what they need to know. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, we don't know this stuff, right? So a leader is the man that's going to stand up in the community, and yeah, he going to be broke. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody gonna pay you to inform people how to get their money. Why they like keeping the true revolutionaries broke? Because it's a capitalist system and money is broke. People like keeping it broke. Like what you saying is only gonna benefit these people, but they still gonna ignore you and be like, ah man, fuck that shit. It's a flaw in that logic though, because Umar raised $700,000, bruh. So it's possible. But see, he did it over on the internet for the most part. But that's what the game is now, though. That's what the game is. But we not gonna be able to deal. If you talk about organizing in Chicago, you're not gonna be able to do it over the internet. So you're not gonna be able to crowdfund in the same way. It's a combination of all of it. You know what I'm saying? But no, it's a template we could use. You know what I'm saying? Because what I'm saying is, like, I understand what you're saying, but for the most part, if we talk about taking over a ward. Let's just say you ain't gotta get the money from the people, and that's the other trick about politics. You ain't gotta get the money from the people in that ward. You need them to come out and vote. You get the money to get them to come out and vote. You understand? Okay, so when I'm running a campaign, like all the campaigns I done ran, they've been underfunded. We ain't got no money, right? So my thing was just I'm gonna spend all this money getting people to knock on doors and talk to people. You know what I'm saying? But if I had the money I needed, you know what I'm saying? If I had me a $50,000 war chest, we gonna have little community events every week. We gonna have blasting music on the corner. Everybody gonna know who we are. And that's what people yes, in the middle of the winter. Everybody gonna, that's why they have elections in the wintertime, by the way. So you can't get your community out there and organize and get to know everybody. They literally, that's the reason they put it right there. That's all in the north. Well, yeah, true. And it's on Tuesdays. Same thing. You know what I'm saying? But like, like I said, elections is an embezzlement game now. And what it is about now is putting my people on. You know what I'm saying? In Chicago, these black aldermen hire outside political organizers and strategists to come in and run their campaigns. You know what I'm saying? That money, if you invest that money in your community, that's almost a solid win. And you building your staff. And you keeping you on the ground. You can stay in power for 100 years. You know what I'm saying? But the way it's built here is top down, right? So the Chicago machine handpicks who gonna win. Right? They gonna pick their little black one here, the Julian Stratton there, and the Leslie Hairston there. You know what I'm saying? All these people that come out of nowhere and suddenly they aldermen. They've been groomed for it. There's an article came out the other day in the Sun-Times that Tony Preckwinkle, Daley's kids, Rahm's kids, this is the people they hire. You know what I'm saying? So in order to keep that power in these families, you know what I'm saying, generationally. And black people need to practice that, but we got to start, we don't have that. So we got to start at the grassroots. We got to start at knowing 10 of your neighbors going to come to your neighborhood watch, because that can start a political organization. You ain't got to call it a neighborhood watch. You can call it a community whatever. You know what I'm saying? Block club, whatever. That's how political organizations are started. 10 people on every block, right? 4 block radius, you got 40 votes. You know what I'm saying?
You know, black folks got a problem with wanting to be first. This is the same thing the dude on the internet who talking about we got to respect and pay homage to the people who put the HR 40 out there first, and all the Pan-Africans who started the conversation about reparations. You know what I mean? He want to give homage to something that's been dead. Nobody was talking about this. All of these people been talking. You know, man, it's been here all these years, and now when ADOS come around, here they come again.
That's another another way they got us, and our elders got us like this.
Man, this is crazy.
Okay, age and wisdom. And we're learning this. The age and wisdom do not correlate. You know what I'm saying? The young people, especially the generation below, these millennials, bruh, they ain't going. They understand. They watch the baby boomers. The baby boomers gave away everything the civil rights movement gave us. Because we like looking at it from where we at. Well, man, the civil rights movement. I spent years saying the civil rights movement ain't do nothing for me. Man, Martin Luther King ain't do nothing. I spent years saying it. You know what I'm saying? Didn't realize that no. What happened was between 1980 and the year 2000. You know what I'm saying? Not only did they flood our communities with crack, and everybody with the resources left, but then the people that went running screamed about the hood and how bad it was after abandoning it and taking your money with it. You know what I'm saying? And gave us mass incarceration because they was crying to slick Willie Clinton. You know what I'm saying? And Hillary Clinton talk about to do something about these badass kids that y'all abandoned.
But we still got the same people in office, like the Congressional Black Caucus. What did it take to get rid of them?
We got to organize these millennials as opposed to, okay, these baby boomers. Okay, there is a political shift in America, and what ADOS and pro-black movements have to do is be in a position to take advantage of the political shift and not get left behind, right? Because that's what they do, is when we get momentum, they do something. You know what I'm saying? The civil rights movement was getting the momentum and they knocked off Martin. You know what I'm saying? Right. The Black Panther Party was getting the momentum and they started knocking off the heads. You know what I'm saying? Even with 21st century vote, that's why they came after them heads, bruh. It was 21st century vote. They wasn't worried about no gang violence. They was worried about the Hoover and Gator and Noonie, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the ones I know that ran for office. You know what I'm saying? They was worried because them niggas could move votes.
They move votes.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like the ones that try to tell us that votes don't mean nothing, why they keep trying to take it away? Why is it black people in jail right now for voting as felons?
Well, see, okay, now you get to this argument where people say, well, you trying to integrate into their system.
Where's yours? Where your system at?
This is black folks, and they like, you begging and you think something gonna change. And I understand what they're saying as far as it being unfair. But I'm thinking it's unfair because we got these sellouts in position of power that's supposed to be representing us.
It's a whole lot of moving parts.
And it's a whole, not only are we dealing with the racism, we got a bunch of sellouts, man, that's really just not, that's against our interests.
Well, the people that say,
look like us.
The people that saying that, most of the time, that's them, first of all. You know what I'm saying? It's plenty of folks that claim to be black that don't want to see no progress because they prefer to complain than to work. You know what I'm saying? Like a defeatist attitude ain't gonna get us nowhere. You ain't got no system talking about depending on theirs. You ain't got no system to send people to.
But they're talking about going back to Africa.
To what? You ain't with what? You ain't even got nobody for a ticket.
You got that narrative. You got that narrative. They say, goddamn it, I'd rather have a continent than a country.
Ain't none of them countries finna come and let you take over.
Man, look, listen, it may whatever. It sounds like something deep, and it's really just a really.
No, don't get me wrong. I got brothers right now. My brother Peter Brown, he on Facebook. You can look him up on my friends list. He in Africa right now. I forget which country they in. Zambia. But they got land. They got a mine. They growing crops. They got his coffee crop just came in. He just showed me the order form for his coffee crop. That brother selling fresh coffee beans. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a strong back to Africa movement going on. But let's be real. Most of us ain't going back to Africa.
Most of us ain't. That's what I'm saying.
Like, in fact, let's be. And this could be a whole nother conversation. This could be a whole nother conversation because I'm gonna catch a lot of flack from this one. But we are not African. We are not culturally African, and ain't no amount of effort gonna get us. I will acknowledge my African ancestry and the glory in it, but ain't no amount of effort gonna get me back to there because I'm not in Africa. You know what I'm saying? Cultures are built according to the environment that you are in. We cannot use African cultures to deal with an American environment.
But this is what was going on, and so. This is what's causing the delusion, and I mean, like, seriously, because I understand you don't want to be American because America ain't been shit to niggas. You know what I'm saying?
But America, so you can't be ADOS and say you're not American at the same time.
But no. I'm saying, you know, I'm talking about most of the Pan Africans. Or most of the maybe the Aboriginals or whatever. They you know what I mean?
But they not organized. You talking nationalism and ain't got nothing.
You ain't got nothing. That's what I'm saying. You ain't got no nations. You know, Africa is a whole continent that's got 54 nations that politic with each other. You talking about you don't do politics. like, don't you understand that? So how you gonna go there and survive? You think you just gonna go set up shop and they gonna be like, brother? This is what I'm saying. We is in a total delusion. We don't understand our power that we really have here. If we just wake up. It's gonna take some work because I think a lot of us don't understand. We don't know how to just say, I really don't understand.
There's that, and there's a lot of us. Again, we want to start big. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want the glory, you know what I'm saying? No, it's not gonna be a start big. You gonna start out with a meeting, and just gonna be 3 of y'all, and hopefully the next time it's gonna be 5, and hopefully the next time it's gonna be 7. Then it's gonna go back to 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, the process is real frustrating. We talk about years and years and years of work to move an alderman, much less some congressman. You know what I'm saying? Just to move. We talk about the civil rights movement. They put in 20 years before they got on TV. You know what I'm saying? The civil rights movement started in the 40s. You know what I'm saying? People, it just didn't get. So a lot of people put in work for 10 to 15 years, got no credit, got nothing until the Selma. You know what I'm saying? Until Rosa Parks, until they got up the momentum, and it's different now. We got social media now, so that's why we have a Tone Talks and we have an event. You know what I'm saying? Because we have social media, so it's much easier to build momentum behind an idea than it was 50 years ago.
Well, I think ADOS took off. Because, you know, a lot of us was doing the Pan-African thing because that was what was different from what was the normal, right? But I think innately we all had this, everybody thinking on the same level, like we really at the same time American, like you know what I'm saying? We ain't going back to Africa. I don't want to go to live in Africa.
Right.
You know what? I've heard Pan-Africans who sat there and got 100 videos about Africa, and they tell you I don't want to live in Africa. So
Well, I mean, but the concept though of Pan-Africanism is the world is Africa, right?
The world is Africa.
You know what I'm saying? So,
you know, another, but I forgot. But I'm thinking ADOS took off because Yvette and Tone just started a language that we just wasn't using, and when the language got put out there, it's like, oh shit, this one I was on anyway. It's about us. We need to get this. And
the other side of that, Marcus Garvey said that when the people won't organize themselves, conditions will, right? So the election of Donald Trump, and suddenly black people see the opposition in the flesh that we've been facing for the past 50 years, right? So we need that though. Like, I'm sorry, but it's human nature. You know what I'm saying? Because no, us getting shot down in the streets for some reason ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? But when we had this big bad devil up in the White House, and I'll take it. Don't get it twisted.
But, you know what? I mean, I was just the mayor of San Juan in Puerto Rico is said to was hiding funding just so she could propagate that Trump ain't helping Puerto Rico. I
don't know if that's true because I was literally just reading this story, and there could be some truth for that, but they've only gave them like $6 billion out of a $40 billion package.
Okay.
Right? So it could be the theater just to get the rest of that foot. They already said we gonna give them $40 billion, not Congress trying to decide, just like the reparations, how they should spend their money down in Puerto Rico. Right? So this is what this whole argument is about, is, oh yeah, we gonna give you this money, but this string attached, you can only do so much here, because this is what it is. You're setting up your contractors to go down there and get that money. Understand the game. Like that's how government spending is built on contracts. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have to find authorized contracts that the U.S. government authorizes in order to even spend that money on infrastructure to rebuild stuff.
But Puerto Rico, U.S. territory, so it ain't like it's no foreign dealing.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But foreign companies will get it. Foreign companies get that money all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because again though, like, but that's why they stalling though. They stalling to get their contractors in position. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it's bids going on right now to do the work in Puerto Rico. While they discussing this money over here, they're bidding over here and jostling over who gonna get it. And that's every disbursement that ever happens. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works.
Yeah, see. But yeah, but I think the ADOS it took off because it's just the language that we was already feeling, and you know what I mean.
And we were waiting for it.
And we were waiting for it, and it's time for that. You know what I mean. So you know, all the people who are against it, you know what I mean. You might, hey, like they say, we here, man, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
It's either when you against reparations, you just either anti-black and convinced that black people aren't worth anything. You know what I'm saying?
But even beyond that, because so if reparations don't happen, we still ADOS,
right? And
we still got that argument.
A lot of people, a lot of people don't want to acknowledge it. And
that's a culture that I think we need to just probably pick up and have amongst ADOS, because whether it happened in this generation or 20 generations later, we don't never need to let them forget.
I'd rather, and honestly, again, a lot of people. So my self-value is in what I built for myself, right? So I would rather be up from slavery than down from kings. If you understand what I'm saying? Like okay. So the story was, when I was growing up, they didn't take slaves from Africa. They took the kings and warriors or whatever. Okay, you know what I'm saying? We have a history before America that's so glorious or whatever. And I agree. However, the folk that came here got broke down to nothing.
And rebuilt themselves.
And rebuilt ourselves, and that's what we need to focus on as black descendants of slaves in America.
And that's the problem. They want to be like that. That's the issue. They don't want. We more than what slavery. Well, yeah, we is, but what we created. We a whole new people. And then, and you know, what I mean, you know, I hate to say it, but we got a lot of white folk in us too.
Hey,
period.
It is what it is.
We got a lot of motherfuckers. We got a lot of Latin in us.
Yeah.
In this dude. Period.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like shit.
So the way we'll go over this on another day. But the way the race system works actually isn't white and everybody else. Right.
But
so The bottom line is like we have to acknowledge our actual position. We can't operate under this illusion or delusion that there's somehow some type of glory that we need to get back to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
No, we have to build ourselves into something brand new. There is no philosophy. Yeah, reach back to the source. Yeah, Ubuntu. Yeah, we build and can do everything together. Mm-hmm. These are basic African principles, though. You know what I'm saying? No, we can't like they lived a certain type of way. Their environment allowed them to only wear loincloth. We're not gonna run around in loincloth in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So they before the colonizers showed up, no, their wars weren't as brutal as, you know what I'm saying? We learned that stuff from them. Right. You know what I'm saying? So while acknowledging that Africa is Africa and they have their advantages to that thought process, we live in a colonizer's country that's brutal, and their capacity for cruelty and violence is second to none, and that's the culture we have to build to defend from that.
So having us saying is now we are not in the mind of these people, we anti-Africa. We don't want to be Africans no more.
I'm pro family. I mean, I use the word family, right? So
what's wrong with using Africa?
Ain't nothing wrong with using Africa, but
everybody Africans, ain't they? They say so everybody can be African. I mean, like how we say we just the whole continent. Well, every white folks say the same thing. We just the whole continent.
Okay, when people try to get technical, Minister Farrakhan broke it down in one of his Savior's Day speeches. Africa ain't the name of Africa. White folks named it Africa.
That's another argument.
That's a Latin word. Wrong. You know what I'm saying? So let's not every understanding that we're filtering through is through a Eurocentric construct. They took over everything until we realized that they took over and messed up everything. So we got to rebuild something in our image because everything else is made in theirs right now.
Period. Leave me your information how to get in contact with you.
All right, Kohmee Perret. Available on Facebook, Kohmee Bakari Perret. I'm sure he gonna put my name on the screen somewhere, so that's not really an issue. So what? I'm gonna give you my links this time. So there's Black Liberation Politics.xfunnels XFUNNELS xfunnels.io. Black Liberation Politics.xfunnels.io is where you can find my book. BLPA.xfunnels.io is where you can sign up for the Black Liberation Party of America. Again, you can find me on Facebook or on Twitter at KPJustB, on Instagram at JustBeFly75, and on Ask the Streets Media.
There it is.
If you have questions that you would like to ask the streets, contact us at askthestreetsmedia@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching.